He died in a ridiculous way. Not heroically, not tragically, but precisely ridiculously, with that specific cruelty that only real life has. March 7th. Evening, Seoul, Mapo District. Jin Hyeo, 24 years old, an intern at an insurance company, lives alone, eats instant noodles 3 times a day, was hurrying home in the rain. He slipped on the wet tile by the entrance. Fell flat, face down, right into what the neighbor's dog Mungi had left behind, the one whose owner walked him without a muzzle and without bags. His mouth was open, he was just about to swear. Darkness. Not immediately, he lay there for about 3 seconds, understanding what had happened. Then darkness. The ceiling of his apartment. A crack. The fan is spinning, the phone on the nightstand. The date is February 1st, 5 weeks before the fall. Jin Hyeo lay there and looked at the ceiling, then the system. It appeared on its own without warning, like a notification he had not been expecting. System activated. Devours initialization. Host. Jin Hyeo. Transformation circumstances. Accidental consumption of organic waste products of the vital activity of a dog. Canis lupus familiaris. Acquired skills. Dog's scent enhanced sense of smell. Times 40. You sense smells at a distance of up to 300 meters. Territorial growl emission of a sound wave capable of causing panic in animals and people with unstable psyches. Pack instinct passive. You sense the emotional state of nearby people. Active. You suppress the will of weak personalities for a short time. The system welcomes you. Jinyo read. Reread. Dog scent. Territorial growl. Pack instinct. I ate. I fell on. He got up, went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror for a long time. Then he laughed. Not cheerfully. With that kind of laughter people laugh with when the alternative is crying, and they do not want to cry. So that's how it is. The end of the world, and I got the skill of a sniffer, and the ability to growl like a mutt. Thank you, universe. Very funny. He washed his face, sat on the bed, opened the system again. 5 weeks before the apocalypse. In the first life, he remembered everything. The apocalypse began in March. People ate. Some by accident, some intentionally, not yet knowing what it meant. What you ate, that you became. Not fully a hybrid, a symbiosis. Ate fish, gills, scales, the ability to breathe underwater. Ate metal, hardness, conductivity. Ate wood, flexibility, photosynthesis. In the first life, Jin Hyeo, with the skills of dog waste, lasted 3 weeks. Then he was killed by a man who had accidentally eaten a piece of basalt rock during a collapse and turned into a living stone. The basalt man did not even notice that he had stepped on him. Dog's scent and the growl did not help. Jinyo lay on the bed on February 1st of the second life and thought, the world laughed at me in the first life, gave me shit instead of strength, killed me absurdly. In the second life, different rules. My rules. He opened a notebook, wrote one word, devour. 5 weeks. Jinyo used them methodically, not feverishly, not in panic. He was cold-blooded by nature. People sometimes mistook that for a lack of feelings. Wrong. The feelings were there. He just did not let them into decision-making. Dog's scent he trained in the first days. At first it was irritating. Soul smelled of everything at once. Exhaust, food, people, garbage. Too much. He learned to filter it the way a sound engineer isolates the needed channel from the general noise. By the end of the first week, he could identify a person by scent from 200 meters away. By the end of the second, 300, consistently. He tested territorial growl once in an empty park at night. The sound came not from the throat but from the chest, low in the infrasound range. Cats within a radius of 50 meters scattered. A homeless man on a bench jumped up and walked away quickly, looking back. He himself did not understand why. There is a use for it. Pack instinct was the most interesting. The passive mode worked constantly. People in the subway, he felt the background. Fatigue, anxiety, irritation. Sometimes a sharp emotion, vivid. A woman by the doors was thinking about something bad. He felt it like the smell of burning. He tried the active mode carefully. On a weak-willed person, like a young guy in a coffee shop, indecisive, taking a long time to choose what to order. Jinyo looked at him and pressed gently, not harshly. A quiet effort from within. The guy ordered an Americano, then looked at the cup in surprise. He usually took a latte. It works. For now, weakly, on the indecisive. Later, it will be stronger. But the main thing he thought about every day was not training the skills. The main thing was what he understood on the first night of the second life. The system is a transformation from what you ate, which means if you eat another person with a system. He did not think it through to the end. Too early, the apocalypse had not started yet. There were no other systems. But he wrote it down in the notebook. What will happen if I eat a system host? Check. On March 1st, he began observing. Dog's scent gave something unexpected. People with systems smelled different. Not radically, not like something alien. Subtly like the smell of iron before a storm. Like ozone after a discharge. He did not know why. Maybe the system changed the body's biochemistry. Maybe it was his personal perception setting. In any case, he sensed them. On March 6th, a day before the apocalypse, he counted 3 in his district. A young woman near the grocery store smelled of something plant-like, warm. She still did not know about her system, probably. Had not eaten anything special yet. A middle-aged man near the gym had a sharp metallic smell. This one had already eaten something, or would eat soon. A teenager near the school, sourish, strange, almost chemical. 3. The first potential targets. For now, only observe. He wrote down their distinguishing features in the notebook. Times of appearance. Routes. He went to sleep on March 7th knowing that he would wake up in a world where everything had changed. In the morning, the apocalypse began quietly. News on the phone. An incident in Busan. A man ate a piece of plastic for a bet, and an hour later, semi-transparent plastic plates had grown all over his back. Flexible, light, impenetrable, a viral video. Laughter in the comments. Several serious ones. This is not normal. What is happening? By noon, there were 10 more cases. By evening, there were several thousand across the country. There was no panic on the first day. There was confusion, curiosity, the first attempts to understand. Some ate intentionally already on the first day. Young, bold, with the logic that if the world is changing, it is better to change yourself first. Jinyo sat by the window and looked at the street. The system updated. System update. Apocalypse activated. Transformation available, eat and become. Your system, Devourer. Status, active since initialization. Attention, unique function, available upon fulfillment of condition. Condition, absorb another system host. Upon fulfillment, the system will fully unfold. Absorb another host. There it is. Jinyo closed the phone, looked at the street. Below, the neighbor from the 4th floor, Park something. Jinyo never remembered the names of neighbors. He stood by the entrance and looked at his hands. His hands were metallic, light, almost silvery. He turned them and examined them with the amazement that comes when reality crosses fantasy. Metallic hands. That means he ate metal. That means a system. The first candidate. Jinyo stood up. No, too early. Not here, not like this, not with witnesses. First understand how it works. Study it, then act cold-bloodedly. He sat back down, opened the notebook, wrote, Rule 1, never in haste. Rule 2, always know what you will get before you act. Rule 3, leave no traces. Looked at what he had written. Added a 4th, the world gave me shit. I will take everything else from the world. The apocalypse gathered strength over 3 days. By March 10th, Seoul looked like a city from a dream. Hybrid people walked the streets. The transformations were different, strange, sometimes beautiful, sometimes ugly. A man near the subway, he had eaten a piece of tire rubber in some kind of bet. Even before the apocalypse, now he had black elastic layers instead of skin on his shoulders and arms. Bullets bounced off, literally. A police officer tried to detain him for a medical examination, fired a rubber bullet, and the bullet flew back. A woman ate a piece of glass not understanding what she was doing, found it on the ground, tried it, became partially transparent. The organs were visible. Fragile as when struck, she cracked, but healed quickly, like glass under the influence of temperature. A student in the neighboring block ate a piece of raw chicken meat for a bet. Half chicken. The wings were small but real. He could not fly. Good. He could glide from a height. The world was changing quickly. Jinyo observed from his window and sensed smells. Dog's scent had turned him into a living map. He knew who was where, who had a system, who did not. The metallic neighbor Park went out every morning at 6. He walked toward the park, returned an hour later. On the 4th day, Jinyo followed him. The park was empty that early. Park, metallic hands, ordinary body, was exercising by a tree. Push-ups, pull-ups. The metallic hands did not feel pain under strain. That was obvious. He was pressing out more than usual, surprised. Did it again. Jinhyo watched from behind the trees. Metallic hands. What does that give? Strength, yes. Protection, yes. But is it a system? Did he eat or transform accidentally? The scent says yes. The smell is like that of a host. That means he has parameters, skills. Which exactly is unclear for now. Unclear means cannot take. Rule 2. Jinyo left. Over the next 4 days, he studied. Not Park, all 3. The woman with the plant-like smell turned out to be a florist, transformed into something flower-human. Small living flowers grew from her skin. They reacted to emotions with color. Fear, red. Calmness, white. A beautiful transformation. A system, he could sense it. The skills were probably related to plants. Growth, regeneration, maybe poisons. Interesting. The man at the gym with the metallic smell turned out to be more complicated. He had eaten something specific, not just metal. Jinyo approached closer once under the pretext that he was looking for a cafe. The smell? Tungsten. Alloy. Tungsten is the hardest metal. If his body is made of tungsten, he is practically indestructible physically. Dangerous. Not the first. The teenager near the school had a sour chemical smell. Turned out he had eaten an aspirin tablet before the transformation. A half-hybrid with acid. His skin secreted a weak acidic solution. Not lethal, but it caused burns on contact. The acid teenager. Potentially useful skill, but a teenager. Park first. Metallic hands are not tungsten. That is an initial level. Understandable. Manageable. Jinhyo made a plan. March 15th, 6 in the morning. Park. Park came as usual, exercises as usual. Jinhyo waited by the far bench, alone. Nobody in the park. He checked with the scent. He approached. "Hello," he said. Park turned around, looked a little wary. The new world made people cautious. "You're from our building," Park said. "Yes." "From the 6th. "Ah," Park said, relaxed a little. A neighbor is an understandable category. "Do you run in the mornings?" "No," Jinhyo said. "I came to talk." "With me?" "With you." Park looked. "About what?" "About transformation," Jinhyo said. "You have metal. I have something else." Pause. "Have you already figured out what you can do?" It was the right question. People with new systems wanted to talk about them. Wanted someone else to confirm that it was real. Park looked at his metallic hands. "My strength increased," he said. "I tested a strike on a wall. Brick crumbles." Pause. "Also, I can feel metal around me. Pipes underground. Rebar in walls. Like a magnet, but without attraction. I just know where it is. Metal detection. So at least 3 skills. Strength, hand durability, metal detection." "Interesting," Jinhyo said. "And what do you have?" "Scent," Jinhyo said. "The truth. Why hide what does not matter?" "I sense smells from far away." Park smirked. "Scent?" There was a slight superiority in his voice. "That is, not a very combat-oriented ability." "No," Jinhyo agreed. "What did you eat?" There it is, people always ask. The shame of that question. He expected it. "Doesn't matter," Jinhyo said. Something in his tone made Park not push. He just nodded. "All right." Park stretched. The metallic joints crackled like a tin can. "Listen, since you're here, can you do anything besides scent?" "Something," Jinhyo said. "We need people," Park said. "I'm gathering a group. We already have several people. Safer together. A group. Which means he is no longer alone. That changes the situation. How many people?" 5, including me." "One fiery one," Park said proudly. "Ate a burning coal, fire thrower, fiery. So there are more system hosts in the group." "Show me your group," Jinhyo said. "Then I'll decide." Park's group gathered in the basement of a residential building a block away. 5 people. Jinhyo sat by the wall and watched. Park. Metallic hands. Fiery Lee Sonho, 30 years old, ate a burning coal on a bet. The fingers of his right hand burned constantly with a small, steady flame. Could intensify it, throw clumps of fire, make a stream. Control was average for now. A woman with grass, Kwan Myeon, 28. Thin, sharp stalks grew from her skin, hard like thorns. Her skin was tightened with green chlorophyll. Regeneration was fast. A fat man, Choi Doksu, 45, ate a piece of concrete. Partially stone, chest and belly monolithic, slow but impenetrable. And the last one, thin, nervous, young, about 18. Im Chansik ate a piece of jellyfish. Partially translucent, can release electric discharges. Weak for now, but precise. 5 systems, fire, metal, plant, stone, electricity, a rich set. Jinyo sat and smiled quietly with his lips only so no one noticed. Rule 2, know what you will get. Now I know. I'm with you, he said. Park nodded with satisfaction. For 3 weeks, Jinyo was part of the group, not passively, actively. He solved problems, found resources. Dog's scent made him an indispensable scout. He sensed danger from 200 meters away, ambushes, aggressive transformed people, competing groups. Pack instinct he used quietly without announcement. The passive mode showed the emotions of everyone. Someone's tension before lying. Someone's fear before making a decision. Information is more important than anything. The group accepted him the way one accepts a useful, quiet person. Not closely, not warmly, functionally. Jinhyo was fine with that. Lee Sanho, the fiery one, was the de facto leader, although formally Park was considered the leader. Sanho talked less, did more. Smart. Jinhyo watched Sanho more carefully than the others. Fire was the best skill of the 5. Attack, illumination, warmth, psychological pressure, versatility, take first. In the 3rd week, the first clash happened. Another group of 6, aggressive, came for supplies. They had one transformed man, and he had eaten iron ore. His body was partially iron, dull but durable. The fight was short. Sanho burned 3 of them, not to death burns. They retreated. The Iron Man tried to break through. Park met him. Metal against metal, Park was stronger in the hands. Choi Doksu stood like a wall. Jinyo did not fight. Sat by the wall in the back. Territorial growl, and he knew it would work. Panic in the weak, but it was too early to reveal it. Watch, remember, how each one fights, where the weakness is. Afterward, everyone relaxed. Survived, won. A small surge of adrenaline became closeness. Park slapped Sanho on the shoulder. Kwan Myeon laughed nervously coming out of combat mode. Choi Doksu was silent as always. Chansik, the young jellyfish one, was trembling. He discharged accurately but got frightened by his own discharge when it turned out stronger than before. The skill grew, Jinhyo told him quietly. Chansik looked at his hands. Stronger than yesterday, he said. It happens under stress. The system adapts, is that good? For survival, yes. Chansik nodded, calmed down a little. Pack instinct passively, Jinhyo felt the boy's tension decrease. Trust grew. Trust is also a resource, but a resource that makes the victim softer. The moment came 5 days after the clash. April 1st. Lee Sano stayed alone. The others went for provisions. Jinhyo said he was unwell, stayed behind. The basement, only the 2 of them. Sanho sat by the wall, training control, a small flame on his palm, reducing it, increasing it, meditatively with concentration. Jinhyo watched. Rule 1, not in haste. Rule 2, know what you will get. Fire, attack, warmth, psychological pressure. Rule 3, leave no traces. Everyone left. They will return in 2 hours. Enough time. Sanho, Jinhyo said. How do you feel the fire? Inside. Describe it. Sanho looked at the flame. Like it is always warm there, he said. It does not hurt. Comfortable? Pause. Sometimes I want more. Like hunger, but not for food. For fire. That is the system speaking. Probably. Pause. Do you think the system feels? I think so. Sanho nodded thoughtfully. Too bad you only have scent, he said. Without malice, just a fact. Yes, Jinhyo agreed, although you saved us several times with reconnaissance. Scent is more useful than it seems. Thank you. What did you eat after all? Sano asked again. Without pressure, just curiosity. You do not say. Jinhyo looked at him for a second. I'll tell you, he said. Later. Later did not come. Jinhyo stood up, approached Sanho slowly without haste, sat down beside him, Sonyo was looking at the flame. Listen, he began. Pack instinct, active mode. Jinyo pressed not roughly, deeply. Suppression of will. 3 weeks of closeness had made the channel wider. Sonho was not weak, but Jinyo had studied his emotional rhythm thoroughly. Sonyo fell silent. The flame on his palm dimmed. Sonyo looked at him with slight confusion. 30 seconds of window. Enough. Jinyo did not think about what he was doing. There was no time and no need to think. He had decided this 5 weeks ago on the first night of the second life. He did what the system required. Silence. Jinyo sat. Waited. The system exploded. Condition fulfilled. Devourer full initialization. First host absorbed. Skills acquired. Flaming palm fire control through the right hand. Attack, warmth, control of burning. Thermal protection passive. The body's temperature threshold is increased. Fire does not harm. Unique function unlocked. System absorption. Upon full absorption of a host, all their skills pass to you. Skill stack. There is no limit on the number of absorptions. System note. You are the devourer. Eat or be eaten. Jinyo looked at his right hand, raised it. A small controllable flame appeared on his fingers. He looked at the fire. There it is. This is a real system. The shitty system turned into something else because I wanted something else. The world gave me nothing. I took what was mine. He extinguished the fire, stood up, removed the traces carefully, methodically, left the basement. Outside, an April soul. Transformed people passed by. A half-chicken was hurrying somewhere. A man with wooden legs swayed as he walked. Jinyo walked and with scent felt that there were many system smells around. Many hosts. A rich world. He took out the notebook, opened the page with the rules, added a fifth. Always know the next target before the previous step is taken. Put it away. Walked on. The group fell apart naturally without his participation. When they returned and discovered that Sonho had disappeared, there were different versions. Outsiders took him. He left on his own. Accident. The world of the apocalypse left no time for investigations. Park was upset. He valued Sonho. Jinyo was upset together with him. Pack instinct passively, he felt suspicion from Kwan Miyon. Not direct, not formed, just anxiety directed somewhere in his direction. Intuition in people with systems is sharper. Kwan Miyon is dangerous. Thorns, regeneration, maybe poisons. He had not tested that yet. Too early to remove her. Removing someone while under suspicion creates a pattern. Wait, the group lived 2 more weeks. During those 2 weeks, Jinyo absorbed Choi Doksu. Not in the basement, in the street. At night. Doksu went aside alone. He sometimes walked by himself. Gloomy, slow, a stone man. Jinyo followed by scent. 100% tracking accuracy without visual contact. The absorption was faster than with Sonho. He already knew how. Skills acquired from Choi Doksu. Stone armor passive. The chest and torso are covered with a concrete crust. If desired, it can be expanded to the whole body. Slower movement, protection many times higher. Seismic strike upon striking the ground with a fist, a shockwave in a radius of 5 meters. Knocks people down. Stone armor and seismic strike. Good. Now dogs scent, pack instinct, territorial growl, flaming palm, thermal protection, stone armor, seismic strike. 7 skills. Of the 5 possible in this group, metal, plant, and electricity remained. He looked at the table in the notebook. Park, metal. Kwan, plant. Chansik, electricity. Kwan first, she suspects. Remove suspicion by removing the source. With Kwan Miyon, it did not go cleanly. She sensed it. Not pack instinct, her own intuition, sharper than the others. Jinyo underestimated it. When he approached, she turned around too early. Looked. What are you doing, she said. Quietly, evenly. She already knew, her face said she knew. Kwan began Jinyo. Sonho, she said, and Doksu. Pause. You? Pack instinct active, Jinyo pressed. Kwan Miyon winced, felt it, shook her head. It won't work, she said. Thorns rose on her skin, green, sharp, on the shoulders and forearms. Plants do not have a will that can be suppressed. I am half plant. That is why pack instinct does not affect plant-based ones. An important conclusion, too late. She attacked. The thorns flew like darts. Fast, precise. Jinyo dodged, 2 hit the shoulder, pierced the jacket. The pain was sharp. Poisons. He has no memory of water, but scent feels it. Neurotoxin weak. Not immediately lethal, slowing. The thorn does not kill. The slowing kills, the next attack kills. He activated stone armor. The skin on his torso hardened. Kwan Mion looked at it. Doksu, she said. Understood. Yes, Jinyo said. He released flaming palm, not at her, at the wall nearby. Fire against plant? She should have been afraid. She was, recoiled, but did not run. She stopped, watching. Why are you doing this? Kwan Mion said. Not with fear, but with that sharp expression of a person who wants to understand before making a decision. Jinyo stood with fire on his hand. Explain? Why? Because I can, he said. Is that all? The world gave me shit, he said. Literally. I take what is mine. Kwan Mion looked. That is not yours, she said. That is someone else's. Now it is mine. She attacked again, not with thorns. She released something else from her hands, twisting vines fast like whip strikes. They wrapped around the hand with fire, raw, alive. The fire went out under the wet greenery. Jinhyo tore his hand free, the vines held tight, stronger than expected. With the other hand, a seismic strike into the floor. Shockwave, Kwan Mion lost her balance, dropped to one knee. Once more, since she was falling, the vines unclenched. Jinhyo, on one knee beside her, reached out. Silence. He sat. His shoulder burned from the poison. Scent was already identifying the neurotoxin more precisely. Weak. It will pass in an hour. System. Skills acquired from Kwan Mion. Thorn armor. Passive. The skin grows protective thorns when threatened. Active. Release of thorns as projectiles. Living vines control over growing vines from the hands. Strike, grab, entwining. Phytotoxin upon skin contact transfers a neurotoxin. Adjustable concentration. High concentration to paralysis for 10 to 20 minutes. Chlorophyll regeneration in light. Wounds close quickly. Speed depends on illumination. Phytotoxin. On contact, paralysis. That is why she did not run. She was waiting until he came close enough. She almost succeeded. Jinhyo looked at his hands. 10 skills now. And thorn armor plus stone armor plus thermal protection. 3 layers of defense. I am becoming more complex. He stood up. Park and Chansik, and they did not know yet. They will return in an hour. Park, metal. Chansik, electricity. Together they are harder, must separate them. He removed the traces. Left. Park understood when he did not find Kwan Mion. Not immediately. He searched, waited, decided she had left. Then his face changed. Something in the mathematics of the missing. Jinhyo saw it through pack instinct, passive, suspicion, sharp, formed. He knows. So it has to be before he tells Chansik. But Chansik was nearby. Park looked at Jinhyo across the room. Jinhyo looked back. For 3 seconds they looked at each other. Then Park, with the metallic hands, clenched his fist. It was you, he said. Not a question. Park began. Jinhyo, be quiet. Chansik, the young jellyfish one, looked on in confusion. What is happening? He killed Sanho and the others, Park said, evenly without shouting. His anger was quiet, and that was more dangerous. I began. Chansik. Leave, Park said. Leave now. Chansik looked at Jinhyo. Is it true, he said. Pack instinct active. Chansik is young, emotionally unstable, but Park is nearby. Park's will is stronger. It will not work on both at once. Leave, Chansik, Jinhyo said. Strange, the same advice as Park. A different reason. Chansik looked. Did not leave. Park attacked. Metallic fists, speed unexpected for a heavy body. Jinhyo dodged the first blow. It grazed the shoulder. Stone armor cracked a little, not through. Strong. Stronger than I thought. Metal detection gave him something else. He senses my armor, strikes exactly at the joints. The second blow Jinhyo met with living vines. They wrapped around Park's wrist. Park jerked. The vines held. Phytotoxin on contact, Jinhyo said. Park stopped. He understood. If you tear it out, skin too, Jinhyo said. Contact means paralysis for 10 minutes. Park stayed motionless, calculating. Pack instinct passively. Jinhyo felt in Park not fear. Calculation. Cold-blooded like his own. That is rare. An interesting man. Why, Park said. I explained to Kwon. Explain to me. The world gave me a bad system, Jinyo said. I am building a better one. At the expense of others. Always at someone's expense. Park looked at him. You understand what you are doing, yes. And you do not stop. No. Pack instinct passive? Jinhyo caught something unexpected in Park. Not anger, not fear. Weariness. Deep, old weariness. It had been there even before the apocalypse. Park lowered his metallic hands. Did not surrender, relaxed. You will kill me, he said. As a fact. Most likely, Jinhyo said honestly. Then one question. Speak. Chansik, Park said. He is just a boy. 18 years old. Before the apocalypse, he lived with his mother. She transformed into plastic. Froze. Pause. Do not touch him. Jinhyo looked. Pack instinct passively in Park behind those words. Not fear for himself. Concern. Real. In a cold-blooded man, there was one point of warmth. Interesting. You're asking me, Jinhyo said. Yes, why should I? You should not, Park said. I am asking. Silence. Chansik, electricity. A useful skill, precise discharge, controllable. Through any armor, probably electricity does not stop at stone. Dangerous if it grows, but weak right now, unstable. He is 18 and his mother froze as plastic. Removing a weak, unstable one is wasteful. Waiting until he grows is a risk. Third option, use him. Fine, Jinhyo said. Park looked. Fine what? Chansik, Jinhyo said. I will not touch him. For now. For now. For now. Park looked at him for a long time. Do you even understand what kind of person you are? He said quietly. Yes, Jinhyo said. And it suits me. Skills acquired from Park. Steel hands, hands covered in steel. Strike force times 5. Metal surfaces do not cut or crumple them. Metal detection passive. You sense metal within a radius of 50 meters. Type of alloy, shape, location. Ferromagnetism attraction and repulsion of metallic objects. Radius 10 meters. Mass up to 100 kilograms. 13 skills. Ferromagnetism was new. To attract metal. Weapons, structures, transport. Jinhyo stood in the empty basement, alone. Held out his hand. Felt metal in the walls, rebar, pipes. Pulled with ferromagnetism. The rebar bent, stretched toward him like grass to the sun. Good. Somewhere upstairs, the sound of footsteps. Chansik. Jinhyo removed the skill. Straightened his jacket. Chansik came down, looked at the empty basement. Park left, he said. Pack instinct in him, anxiety. He feels that something is wrong. Does not understand what exactly. Yes, Jinhyo said. Where to? He did not say. Chansik looked. Did you talk? Yes. About what? About you, Jinhyo said. Chansik looked astonished. About me? He asked me to watch over you, Jinhyo said, while he is gone. A lie with a truthful basis is the best lie. Chansik looked for a long time. Then something in him broke. No, not broke. Softened. The loneliness of a boy whose mother is plastic and who has no one nearby. Fine, he said quietly. Jinhyo nodded. To use does not mean to kill. While the electric boy grows, he is useful. And while he is useful, he lives. This is not cruelty. This is economy. April. Seoul transformed completely. Not only people, the city too. Districts divided by types of hosts. Organics in one, minerals in another, synthetics in a third. Not officially, it formed on its own. Among the organics were wooden, grassy, bony, leathery ones. Living, fast, regenerating. Among the minerals were stone, metal, crystal. Slow, durable, long-lasting. Among the synthetics were plastic, rubber, glass. Strange, unpredictable. And there were separate ones. Those who had eaten something unique. One man in Gangnam ate amber with an insect inside. Half transparent with ancientness frozen inside, time around him slowed within a radius of a meter. A horrifying sight. People nearby moved as if in honey. A woman ate a piece of meteorite. Found it in a museum, the display case broken by looters, took a piece not knowing what she was doing. now radioactive, glowed with a faint blue light. Around her, plants mutated. Metal oxidized quickly. Transformed people experienced acceleration of their own changes. Everyone feared her. She walked alone. Jinyo watched her from afar. Scent, radiation background. Dangerous in prolonged contact. Skip? For now. He walked through the districts and made a map. Not on paper, in his head. Who is where? What they ate. What skills they have. Potential threat. Potential usefulness. Notebook, new page. 3 columns. Targets, threats, uncertain. The targets kept growing. There were few threats for now. He moved carefully, did not attract attention. 13 skills, he used them in measured portions, not all at once, not in one place. Dogs scent always. The basic layer of perception. Pack instinct passive constantly, active rarely. Everything else only when necessary. Chansik followed him like a shadow. Jinyo allowed it. The boy was a useful observer. His half-transparent jellyfish body almost did not reflect light in the dark, natural camouflage. "Where are you going?" Chansik asked every morning. "On business. I am coming with you." "No." "Why?" "Because your job is to train." Chansik trained. The discharges became more precise. By the end of April, he could burn through at a point, like a scalpel, rather than strike wide. A scalpel of electricity is more valuable than a broad strike. Let him grow. The first major failure happened on April 23rd. Not death, not loss of skills, the first defeat. The target was a man named Han Demuk. He had eaten highly concentrated iron ore, completely iron from head to toe. Slow, yes, but his body was not just armor. He had become a magnet, permanent, powerful. Metal within a radius of 5 meters was drawn to him, uncontrolled simply all the time. He walked draped with broken rebar, pieces of cars, nails from walls. My ferromagnetism is active, controlled. His is passive, constant. Different mechanics. Problem, my steel hands will be pulled to him on close contact. Living vines are not metal, they will not be attracted. But he is iron, toxin will not pass through the skin. Seismic strike requires touching the ground with a fist. Close. Flaming palm, fire against iron. It will heat him but not stop him. Jinyo approached Han Demok in a narrow alley. Han stood heavy, covered with metallic garbage. Looked blankly, not stupidly, simply without interest in what was around him. Iron people often withdrew into themselves. The world was perceived differently through an iron shell. "Han," Jinyo said. Han turned around, slowly. Scent, the smell of hot iron. Pack instinct found almost nothing in him. Emotions dulled together with feelings. Iron does not feel. That is bad. Pack instinct works through emotions. No emotions, no lever. "What?" Han said. "To talk." "Why?" "No interest, no anxiety, no suspicion. Just iron." "I want to offer," began Jinhyo. Han stepped toward him. Jinyo felt Chujoi ferromagnetism, powerful. His steel hands jerked forward on their own. Han's attraction seized the metallic hands. Jinyo jumped back by reflex, but the hands were being pulled. 3 meters away from him and already the hands are being dragged. Impossible to get closer. He tried flaming palm through the pull, a burst of fire. The fire struck Han's iron torso. Han looked at the fire, looked for 5 seconds. The fire heated the surface, made it glow orange. Han took another step. It does not hurt him, or it hurts, but it does not matter. Iron does not run from fire. Jinhyo retreated. Seismic strike requires getting close. Cannot get close, the steel hands will be pulled in. There is no function in the system to deactivate the steel hands. They are part of me now. Retreat. He retreated quickly to the edge of the pull. Han followed him slowly, unstoppably, like an iron mountain. Jinhyo ran. Han did not pursue, lost interest after a block. Stopped. Stood there. Jinhyo watched him from around the corner. Retreat is not defeat. This is data. Data against a permanent magnet, another approach is needed. Without metal in the hands. So, thorn armor, living vines, seismic strike through the legs into the ground, or distance, fire at maximum. Or find a way to disable his magnetism. He wrote in the notebook, Han Demuk postpone. Study weakness, then added, today's loss is victory after study. Rule 6, May, hot. The apocalypse entered its next phase, not the chaos of the first weeks. Organization. The groups were growing larger. The weak joined the strong or died. Territories were divided by strength, not by type of transformation. There appeared, Jinhyo heard through scent and through word of mouth, 3 large structures in Seoul. Armor, the mineral ones. Stone, metal, crystal. Strength and defense, slow but impenetrable. The leader was a certain Kang Guchul. He ate tungsten. Almost unbreakable. Forest, the organic ones. Wooden, grassy, fungal, bony. Fast, regenerating, poisonous. The leader was a woman, Seo Yunji. She ate a parasitic fungus. Controls fungal threads, can pierce organic materials with them. Synthet, the synthetic ones. Plastic, rubber, glass, chemical. Unpredictable, inventive. The leader is unknown. They deliberately conceal the hierarchy. 3 forces. Between them, empty zones. Neutral territories where loners and small groups lived. Jinhyo lived in a neutral zone. Alone except for Chansik. The map in his head updates. Armor, forest, synthet, major targets. Too early. There are many skills, but the leader's systems are more complex than those of ordinary hosts. First, the ordinary ones. Hunt at the edges. Chansik found his mother. Not alive, a plastic figure in an apartment in the northern part of the district. She stood by the window, frozen, transparent, with that posthumous expression that plastic transformed people have when consciousness is gone. He came to Jinhyo at night, face wet, tried to hide it, failed. Sat on the floor, silent. Jinhyo looked at him, pack instinct passive, grief, sharp, real. Not for show, I can use this. Grief makes people manageable. Or one can simply wait until it burns itself out. He did neither, sat beside him, silent too. Chansik after a few minutes. She did not recognize me. Quietly. I stood next to her and she did not. She just stood there. Plastic ones do not feel, Jinhyo said. I know. Pause, but I thought. I do not know. Thought that somehow she... No, sharply. He did not soften it. Chansik looked at him. You could have lied, he said. I could have. Why did you not lie? Because a lie that serves no purpose is a waste of resources. But he did not say that. Because you are already an adult, Jinhyo said. Chansik looked. I am 18. In an apocalypse, 18 is an adult. Silence. What should I do with her? Chansik said. Leave her where she stands, Jinhyo said. Come sometimes. That is enough. Is that normal? Normal no longer exists, Jinhyo said. There is enough. Chansik looked at the wall for a long time. Then unexpectedly, Did you know Park? Pause. Yes, you say he left. Chansik was looking not at Jinhyo but at the wall. But Park would not leave without saying goodbye. He was not like that. Pack instinct in Chansik, something is forming. Not sure yet. But forming. Jinhyo was silent. Tell him? Not tell him? If he figures it out himself, worse. If I tell him, the reaction is unpredictable. He said goodbye, Jinhyo said. Through me, said to watch over you. The truth with another interpretation. Chansik looked at him. For a long time, there was struggle in his eyes. Then he nodded. Not because he believed, because he chose to believe. Those are different things. Sometimes a person chooses a version not because it is true, but because he can live with it. A smart boy. That makes him more dangerous in the future, and more valuable for now. In May, Jinhyo absorbed 5 more. Loners, edge hosts, each gave something. A man who ate a shark bone, cartilage armor, and electroreception to sense the electric fields of living beings within a radius of 20 meters. Predatory mechanics? A woman who ate a piece of obsidian, glass blade, blades of obsidian extended from the forearm, sharper than surgical steel? And thermal vision, seeing thermal signatures. A man who ate copper, conductivity, current through the body, weak. And copper skin, chemical resistance, acids do not affect him. A teenager who ate a piece of coral reef, coral regeneration, regrows lost body parts slowly but steadily. An old man who ate coal, carbon form, temporarily became hard as diamond within the radius of the skin. Carbon burst, a cloud of fine carbon particles blinding and cutting the skin. 22 skills. In the evenings, Jinhyo sat and reread the list, not out of pride, out of analysis. What combines with what? What conflicts? How to use them together? Cartilage armor plus stone armor plus thorn armor plus thermal protection, multi-layered defense. Electroreception plus dog's scent plus hydrolocation, a triple perception system. I know where everyone is. Ferromagnetism plus steel hands, attraction and strike. Phytotoxin plus living vines, touch and paralysis. Carbon form plus glass blade, hardness and sharpness. Flaming palm plus thermal protection, fire that does not burn me. Good, but 22 skills create overload. I cannot use them all at once. Control requires concentration. He trained switching the way a pianist switches registers. Quickly, without pause. One defense, another attack, another perception. By the end of May, 7 skills at once without loss of control. That is the ceiling for now. Need to grow. The system silently, without announcement, gave passive ability unlocked integration upon accumulating 20+ skills. The system begins integration. Skills of the same type merge into an enhanced version. Current integration. Armor stone plus cartilage plus thorn plus copper skin leads to composite armor, activates faster, covers more. On impact automatically counterattacks with thorns. Perception. Dog's scent plus electroreception plus thermal vision leads to predatory perception. 3 channels simultaneously without switching. Constantly active. Side effect of integration. The body changes, irreversibly. The body changes, irreversibly. Jinyo looked at the last line, stood up, went to the broken mirror in the far room, looked. Outwardly almost human, but almost. The skin was slightly darker with a metallic sheen in some places. The fingers of the right hand at the base, where steel hands began, the boundary had become indistinct. Not hand and metal, just a hand that is metal. Under the skin on the forearms, a relief could be seen. Thorn armor slept there constantly. The eyes, he looked into the eyes. Predatory perception now constantly active. 3 channels. In the mirror, he saw himself in the thermal range too. A warm spot with a metallic cold pattern inside. I am no longer entirely human. He looked for a long time, then turned away. Was it something? Regret? Fear? Curiosity? All 3, in equal shares. It does not matter. Continue. June. The time had come to go after major targets. Not because he was fully ready, he would never be fully ready. Perfect readiness exists only in theory. Simply the loners were running out. Edge hosts had either been absorbed by him or had gone to large factions. Armor, Forest, Synthet, Kang Guchol, the tungsten leader of armor. Tungsten melting point 3,500 degrees, the most refractory metal. His flaming palm at maximum was 800 degrees at concentration. Against tungsten, useless. So not fire. Carbon form, diamond is harder than tungsten on the Mohs scale. Obsidian blade under carbon form theoretically scratches tungsten. Theoretically, needs testing. Jinhyo spent 3 days observing. Predatory perception, triple channel, gave an exact picture. Guchel walked with guards, 4 of them, all mineral. The route was predictable. In the morning at 8, he inspected the perimeter of his territory. One section, a narrow alley by the old market. The guards lagged 2 steps behind. The alley was narrow. 2 steps, 2 meters, a 4-second window. In 4 seconds, it was necessary to attack the tungsten body and inflict meaningful damage. Meaningful damage to tungsten, what is that? Seismic strike into the ground under him. The wave does not pierce armor, but knocks him off balance. Fallen, different geometry, different points. Ferromagnetism, tungsten is not magnetic. Will not work. Conductivity, current through my hands into his body. Tungsten is a good conductor, if the current is sufficient. Chansik. His discharges are precise, high density. Mine are weaker, current conducting but not striking. Together, a different matter. Jinhyo returned to Chansik. I need your help. Chansik looked serious. In 2 months together, he had become different. Quieter, sharper. Against whom? A strong opponent. Your skills will not be enough? 1 skill is lacking. Pause. High-density electricity. At your current level, can you? Chansik thought. How long do I have to hold it? 3 seconds. I can. You are not asking why. Chansik looked at him. You always know why, he said. I can ask, but the answer is already there in you. Pause. Better to just do it. Smart boy. Too smart. He understood much, not everything, but much, and chose to stay. Why? Because there was nowhere else to go. Because his mother was plastic. Because with Jinhyo, at least it was clear who was nearby and what to expect. A predictable monster is better than an unpredictable world. Fine, Jinyo said. June 8th, 8 in the morning, the alley by the market. Guchol walked. Huge, tungsten, matte gray. With each step, the asphalt gave micro cracks. Guards behind. The alley narrow. Jinyo on the roof. Chansik by the wall below, almost invisible, jellyfish translucency in the shadow. Guchol entered the alley. 3 steps, 5, 7, middle. Now. Jinyo jumped from the roof. Not spectacular, fast, vertical. Composite armor activated in the air, the thorns rose. Seismic strike, fist into the ground next to Guchol at the moment of landing. Wave, the ground shuddered. Guchol lost balance. The heavy tungsten body fell to one knee, slowly but fell. The guards behind shouted, moved. Chansik from the shadow, discharge. Precise, dense, into the backs of the guards. 3 fell at once, paralysis from electric shock. The 4th recoiled. Jinyo to Guchol. Activate carbon form. Extend glass blade. Diamond hardness, obsidian sharpness. He struck at Guchol's neck, not to kill, to find a joint. Tungsten cannot be monolithic everywhere. Joints, bends, neck, transition zones. The blade scratched. The neck. Guchol growled, not from pain, from surprise. No one had scratched him before. Turned quickly for his mass. The arm, a tungsten fist, struck Jinyo. Composite armor hold. The Uter sent him flying 3 meters. Composite armor held, but inside it felt like being inside a bell that had been struck. Everything vibrated. Too strong. Another angle is needed. Guchol rose from one knee. Looked at Jinhyo. A scratch, he said. The voice was muffled, like stone on glass. You scratched me. Yes, Jinhyo said. In 30 years the first time. I know. Guchol looked. You want to kill me? Yes, why? He asks why, like Park, like Quan. Everyone asks why because it is the most important question there is. I need your skills, Jinhyo said. My skills, Guchol repeated, without anger, thoughtfully. You devour hosts. Yes, I heard of such a thing. Pause, thought it was rumors. No. Guchol looked at the scratch on his neck, tiny, almost imperceptible. Then at Jinhyo. You cannot kill me, he said. Your blade scratches, it needs to go deeper. I know, Jinhyo said, but this is the first time. I will learn. Guchol and Jinhyo saw it. Predatory perception, thermal channel. Something changed in the thermal pattern of the face. Not fear, interest. Iron Man Han did not feel. Tungsten Guchol does feel. Different metals. You will come again, Guchol said. Not a question. Yes. Good, Guchol said. Jinhyo waited. It is not that I am glad to die, Guchol said, but it is interesting to meet someone who can try. Predatory perception in him, weariness, the same that Park had. Old, long weariness. 30 years of unbreakability is loneliness. No one could hit him. That makes you very lonely. Leave, Guchol said. Come when you are ready. Jinhyo looked. He is letting him go. Why? Why do you not finish it now? Jinhyo asked. Because you will run, Guchol said. You are fast. I am not. Pause. Better wait for the next time when you are stronger. More interesting. He wants a worthy opponent. 30 years of unbreakability and no one could hit him. He is lonely. Jinhyo stepped back. Chansik materialized from the shadow beside him. They left. Around the corner, Chansik. We retreated. Yes, why did he not? He stopped. Finish it. Why did he not insist? He was not ready, Jinhyo said. But you scratched him. No one before. A scratch is not victory, Jinhyo said. Victory is absorption. Pause. It has to go deeper. Another angle of attack is needed. Chansik was silent. Then, you are not angry that it did not work? No. Why? Anger slows thinking, Jinhyo said. I think better without it. Chansik looked at him. Are you always like this? He asked. Cold. Yes, even when it hurts. A tungsten fist, 3 meters of flight, the feeling of a bell inside. Painful, yes. He still felt the recoil in his bones. Especially when it hurts, Jinhyo said. Chansik looked. That is not normal, he said quietly. I know, is that bad? For me, no. For normal people, probably. Do you consider yourself abnormal? Jinhyo thought. I consider myself adapted, he said, to what there is. Chansik was silent for a long time. Then quietly, almost to himself, "I want to become the same." Jinhyo looked at him. Predatory perception in Chansik, not admiration. Something more complex. A mixture of fear and desire and loss. "No," Jinhyo said. "Why?" "Because you are capable of anger," Jinhyo said. "That is a resource I lost. Do not waste it." Chansik looked at him. For a long time. "Do you regret it?" he asked. "Do I regret it? The world gave me shit. I took what was mine. I became strong. 22 skills, 13 absorbed hosts. I scratched the tungsten man. Do I regret it?" Jinhyo looked at his hands, metallic sheen on the skin, the relief of armor under the surface, obsidian blades sleeping in the forearms. "I do not know," he said honestly. It was the most honest answer in both lives. July. Jinhyo did not go to Guchul again yet. He went to forest. Seo Yunji the leader, parasitic fungus, fungal threads. He had read about such a fungus, cordyceps, a parasite of insects, controls the host's behavior. If she has the same thing but for people? Very dangerous. Predatory perception, electroreception, living beings give off an electric field. Fungal threads are organic. They should give off a field too. "I will sense them before they touch me." Theoretically. He observed for a week. The territory of forest was green. Literally, plants had grown through asphalt and walls. Wooden people were caring for them. Living, warm, beautiful from afar. Predatory perception, thermal channel, lots of heat. Organic bodies are hotter than mineral ones. Scent, the smell of damp earth, chlorophyll, fungi. Many fungi. Seo Yunji was a woman around 35. Outwardly almost ordinary. Only the skin slightly darker than normal, with thin veins like mycelium under the surface. And the eyes. Dark, without shine. Mushrooms do not have eyes. Her eyes had become like spore capsules. Beautiful and frightening. She never walked alone. Always several people beside her, and Jinhyo with electroreception felt they were connected to her by threads. Thin, subcutaneous. Through them, she knew what they felt. Collective perception. A network. If one attacks, she will sense it through the network in advance. Pack instinct passively, her thread network works similarly. "I feel the emotional background." She feels through fungal threads. Related mechanics. The question, can her network be jammed through my pack instinct? Different channels, probably not, but interference is possible. He decided to test it differently. He entered the territory of forest openly. Not as a threat, as a loner seeking negotiations. Standard survivor mechanics. He was stopped at the border by a wooden man, broad with bark instead of skin. "Where to?" "To Seo Yunji," Jinhyo said. "Negotiations." "Who are you? A loner. I have something to offer." The wooden man looked. Turned away, threads, Jinhyo felt with electroreception that a signal went along a thread to Yunji. A minute later, a nod. He was escorted. Seo Yunji sat in what had once been a small square. Now it was a living dome. Trees woven above her, grass up to the ankles, flowers that had not existed before the apocalypse. Her fungal threads had grown into the ground and upward and outward. Everything alive here was partially her. She looked at Jinhyo when he entered. Predatory perception, thermal channel. Around her it was warmer than it should be. As if everything living here had a slight fever. Electroreception, threads. Very many threads, like a web under the ground and in the air. Scent, fungi, cordyceps, spores in the air. Very few, but there are some. Spores in the air. Copper skin, chemical resistance. Spores will not sprout through copper. Activate passively, quietly. "Sit down," Seo Yunji said. He sat. She looked at him with the expression of people who know how to read others. "You are not a loner," she said. "No," Jinhyo agreed. "You are the devourer." Pause. "She knows." "Rumors," he said. "Not only," Yunji said. "My threads feel the earth. The earth remembers those who died in it or near it." Pause. "You leave a trace." She senses the trace through fungal threads in the soil. This must be taken into account. "Then why let me in?" Jinhyo said. "It is interesting," Seo Yunji said. "The devourer came personally. That is not a threat. A threat would have come differently." "Correct." Why are you here? To know you, Jinhyo said honestly, before acting. SEO Yoonji looked. You say this to my face? Yes. Why? Because you already know who I am. A lie is useless. CO Yoonji, predatory perception, thermal channel. The temperature around her rose slightly. Interest or irritation. Similar thermal signatures. You came to absorb me, she said. Yes, but not now. Not now. When? When I understand how to bypass your threads, Jinhyo said. Seo Eunji looked at him for a long time, then laughed, quietly, sincerely. You are an honest man, she said, for someone who kills. Lies require memory, Jinhyo said. I prefer to save resources. Smart. Yoonji looked. I could kill you now? Threads beneath you, you are sitting on them. Electroreception, yes. He felt them beneath him. A net. I could activate 4 kinds of armor before the threads enter the skin, Jinhyo said. Copper skin is already active. The spores do not work. You knew about the spores. Scent? Pause. Interesting, Yoonji said. You prepared. Always. Seo Yoonji looked at him for a long time, with the close attention of a person studying something new. What do you feel, she said suddenly. What exactly, when you absorb? What do you feel? A strange question. What do I feel, he thought. The first time, satisfaction. Pure, like a solved problem. Then each time, a little less satisfaction. A little more neutrality, like work. Now just the next step. Nothing special, he said. Nothing special, Yoonji repeated. That is bad. Why? Because people who feel nothing are either broken or becoming something else. Pause. Which of the two are you? I am no longer entirely human. Integration changes the body irreversibly. 22 skills, 13 absorptions. I do not know, he said. The second most honest answer of that month. Seo Yoonji looked. Leave, she said. You are smart. Come when you are ready. I will wait. Why are you waiting? Because I also do not have interesting opponents, Seo Yoonji said. Fungi grow better when there is something to grow on. Jinhyo stood up, went toward the exit. Devourer, Yoonji said. He turned around. Chansik, she said. The boy with electricity. Watch over him. She knows about Chansik. Threads in the earth, remember. Why do you care? Jinhyo asked. I do not need it, Yoonji said. You do. You just have not understood why yet. He left, walked along the living streets of forest and thought, why do I need Chansik? A tool, yes. Electricity is needed. Camouflage is useful. But something else. Yoonji said you have not understood yet. I do not like when I do not understand. He walked and thought. And for the first time in several months, he felt something besides neutrality. Irritation from not understanding. That too is a feeling. The world gave me shit. I took 22 skills from the world. But some things cannot be taken. Some things are incomprehensible, and that is the first thing in a long time that is truly interesting. The system quietly, briefly. System note. You are the devourer. You absorb skills. But what absorbs you? Continue. Jinhyo looked at the text. Put it away. Went to Chansik. August. Heat. Jinhyo returned to the task he had postponed. Han Daemok, a permanent magnet, iron body, attracts metal within 5 meters. 3 months had passed. 22 skills had become 26. He absorbed 4 more during July. New skills in the arsenal. From a woman who ate sea salt, osmotic pressure draws moisture out of organic bodies on contact. And salt crystallization on exhalation, a cloud of salt microcrystals. In the eyes, blindness. In the lungs, temporary paralysis of breathing. From a man who ate volcanic pumice, porous armor, the surface of the body absorbs blows as porous stone dampens a wave. And volcanic discharge, compressed gas from the pores of the body, a short reactive thrust. Flight number evasion? Yes, volcanic discharge, reactive thrust. This solves the problem of Han Daemok. He thought for 3 days. Drew diagrams in the notebook, attack geometry, angles, distances. The problem? Steel hands are drawn to Han within a radius of 5 meters. When closing in, I lose control of my hands. The solution? Attack without steel hands. Deactivate them. Problem 2. Steel hands are integrated, part of me. They cannot be deactivated. The solution? Cover the hands with cartilage armor over the steel. Cartilage is organic, not metal. It insulates from ferromagnetism? Theoretically, yes. Cartilage is not attracted to a magnet. Check. He found a metal rod, took a strong magnet from an old speaker, activated cartilage armor on his hands, cartilaginous plates over the steel, brought his hand to the magnet. The rod was drawn in. The hand was not. It works. Cartilage insulates from attraction. Now the plan. Handamic always walked along one route. Not out of predictability, there was simply nowhere else. For an Iron Man without interests, the world narrowed to a route. Jinhyo met him by the old supermarket. Han turned around. Predatory perception, thermal channel, there was almost no heat in him. Iron is cold. You again, Han said, without interest. Me again. What has changed? I have, Jinhyo said. Han looked. You still want to kill me? Yes, then let's do it. He does not run away. He is not afraid. He is simply iron. 3 months ago, this seemed insurmountable. Now that is a weakness. Without fear, there is no evasion. Without evasion, he stands still. Jinhyo activated cartilage armor on his hands, took a step forward. Another. 5 meters attraction. The hands are not being pulled. The cartilage works. 3 meters. 2. Han raised his fist. Huge. Iron. Strike! Jinhyo activated volcanic discharge a fraction of a second before contact. Reactive thrust to the side, 3 meters. The blow missed. Good. It works as evasion. Han turned slowly, predictably. Jinhyo moved behind him, seismic strike into the ground. Wave! Han swayed. Did not fall, too heavy, but swayed. Osmotic pressure on contact. Need to touch. Iron body. No organic material outside, no moisture for osmosis. It will not work. Salt crystallization, cloud into the eyes. He has iron eyes. The crystals will not blind him. Carbon form plus glass blade. The same logic as with Guchol. Look for a joint. Neck, Han is completely iron. No joints. Need to create a joint. Ferromagnetism. Tungsten is not magnetic. Iron is magnetic. Attraction and repulsion of metallic objects up to 100 kilograms. Han weighs much more than 100 kilograms, but parts of his body. Specific parts. Specific. If I pull his arm with ferromagnetism in one direction while the body moves in another, the joint will widen. A gap. Jinhyo stepped back 7 meters, beyond Han's attraction radius. Activated ferromagnetism. Pulled not toward himself. To the side. Han's right arm to the left. Han felt it. Looked at the arm that was moving the wrong way. What began, he said. The arm was going left. The body was not. The joint at the right shoulder was widening. Not wide, millimeters. But lighter there. Jinhyo rushed forward. Volcanic discharge as an accelerator. The speed of the dash doubled. 5 meters, his hands began to be pulled. The cartilage held. Activate carbon form. Extend glass blade. 2 meters, he struck into the shoulder joint. The blade went in. Not deep. 1 centimeter. Han roared for the first time. Not from pain, from the violation of integrity. The Iron Man feels cracks as loss of self. Jinhyo pressed. Han struck back with his free hand. Missed. Volcanic discharge to the side, evasion. Again ferromagnetism, pull the arm. Again a dash, again into the joint. Deeper. Hand dropped to one knee. For the first time. 1 centimeter is not enough. Need more. But the cartilage is starting to peel off. The metallic hands beneath it are starting to be pulled toward Han. There's little time. Third dash, volcanic discharge at maximum. Speed, he almost did not see what he was doing, only felt it. The blade went in 3 centimeters. Now, phytotoxin on contact, neurotoxin. Will the toxin work on an iron body? Unknown. But 3 centimeters into the joint, there is flesh there. There is living tissue under the iron. Toxin through the blade into the living. He delivered the toxin through the obsidian blade into the living tissue. Han froze. Not paralysis, confusion. Something went wrong inside his body, then slowly began to sink. It works. Iron outside, but a man inside. Heart, lungs, nerves. The toxin got through. Han sat down on the asphalt, looked at Jinhyo. You found a way, he said. Yes. How many times did you try? Once before that. Failed. And studied? Yes. Han looked. It hurts, he said, in surprise, as if he had forgotten pain existed. Toxin through the joint, Jinhyo said. It does not hurt for a long time. Long? 3 years. Pause. Before the transformation, I do not remember when either. Predatory perception in Han now. Warmth. A little. The toxin warmed something inside, or something else warmed up. Do it, Han said. Finish it. Jinhyo looked at him. Han is sitting on the asphalt, paralyzed, waiting. He asks to be finished as one asks for a favor, not out of fear, out of acceptance. Skills acquired from Han Dimok. Iron magnet constant attraction of metal within a radius of 5 meters. It can be suppressed by effort of will. By default off, unlike the original. Controllable. Ferrosynthesis, slow absorption of iron from the surrounding environment. Strengthens the body. In an iron-rich environment, passive regeneration of metallic parts. Iron will passive. Reduced effect of external mental effects. It is harder to suppress the host's will. Fear is dulled. Iron will, reduced effect of mental effects. This protects me from the pack instinct of other hosts. And this means my own pack instinct also works more weakly on myself. Good. 29 skills. Jinhyo put away the notebook, looked at the August sky, heavy with the smell of rain. Guchul, Yunji, and the unknown leader of Synthet. 3 major targets. Guchul, tungsten. Now I know how to work with joints. His joints are harder than Han's, but the method is the same. Yunji, fungal threads. Protection against organic penetration is needed. Copper skin is partial. Need better. The leader of Synthet is unknown. A dangerous unknown. Synthet first. Study the unknown. Finding the leader of Synthet turned out to be the hardest of all. Not because he was hiding, but because Synthet had no hierarchy. That is what they said. A horizontal structure, all are equal, decisions collective. A lie. There is no group without a leader. There are groups where the leader does not call himself a leader. Jinhyo spent 3 weeks moving around the territory of Synthet. Predatory perception, electroreception in synthetic bodies gave a strange signal. Plastics, weak, steady. Rubbers, almost none. Glass ones, intermittent, like poor contact. But one deep inside the territory gave a signal of another type. Not steady. Pulsing, complex, like a processor under load. Someone had eaten electronics. That changed everything. He spent another 3 days to make sure. Pulsing signal, processor logic. Electronic transformation is not just synthetics. It is an information system. The one who ate electronics thinks differently. Processes information differently. Possibly faster. Very dangerous. His name was Im Young-jun. Jinhyo learned the name through the standard route. Conversations on the edges of the territory, scent and pack instinct selected the necessary interlocutors. Im Young-jun, 27 years old. Before the apocalypse, a programmer. Ate a server system board. Voluntarily, intentionally, on the first day of the apocalypse, he understood earlier than the others. The transformation was partial. Outwardly almost an ordinary person, only the skin slightly gray with thin golden veins, tracks of conductors, and the eyes quick, twitching slightly as if reading text that is not there. He is processing information constantly, cannot stop. Always active. Jinhyo did not know the skills exactly, but he built hypotheses, information processing, decision-making speed many times higher than normal. Possibly pattern analysis. Prediction of the opponent's actions. Possibly interaction with electronic systems. In a world where technology still works, that is an enormous power. Possibly something with memory. A processor is memory and processing. There are too many unknowns. Rule 2. Know what you will get before acting. Young-jun is a violation of Rule 2. Too many unknown variables. Jinhyo stopped. Break Rule 2 or wait until I get more data. To wait means to give him time to learn more about me. He processes information faster than I do. Time works in his favor. To act with incomplete data is a violation of the rule, but delay is also a risk. Rule 7. When both options are bad, choose the one where you control more variables. In an attack, I control the method, the time, the place. In waiting, he controls the information. Attack. He did not go alone. For the first time, he took Chansik. Not as insurance, as part of the plan. Young-jun processes information fast. That means he predicts actions. That means one attacker with a predictable set of skills will be calculated. Two attackers with different mechanics are harder. You are taking me, Chansik said. Surprise and something else. Something like warmth. Predatory perception in him. Joy. He is glad that he is being taken. An 18-year-old boy is glad that the monster took him on a hunt. Yunji was right. I do not understand yet. Listen carefully, Jinyo said. You go in from the west, I from the east. He will calculate us separately. When he begins reacting to me, you strike. When he begins reacting to you, I strike. Not simultaneously, alternately. Do not give him time to process both. Chansik listened. He thinks fast, Chansik said. Yes, how fast exactly? I do not know. Pause. Therefore, do not give pauses. Discharge immediately without warning, without a wind-up. I understand. Also, he may predict patterns. Do not repeat the same type of attack twice, each time different. Point discharge, wide, impulse, alternate. Chansik nodded. And you? I am the variable, Jinhyo said. 29 skills, I will change every second. 29? Chansik looked. Yes, when did you? He stopped. Never mind. He knows. Has known for a long time. He just does not say it aloud. While it is not spoken aloud, one can avoid thinking about it. Chansik, Jinhyo said. Yes, after this you may leave, if you want. Pause. Long. Where to? Chansik said quietly. Anywhere. You would let me go? Yes? Chansik looked at him. Why? Why? Rule 3, leave no traces. Chansik is a trace, a living witness. He knows about several absorptions if he has thought about it enough. The rules say traces are removed. But, Park asked. Park was the first to ask for someone else before the end. He did not ask for himself, only for the boy. That means something. Not sentimentally, analytically. A person who in the last moment thinks not of himself is rare. Park paid enough, because Park asked, Jinhyo said. Chansik looked for a long time. You killed Park, Chansik said. Quietly, evenly? Not a question. There it is. He knew. Yes, Jinhyo said. Silence. Long, heavy silence. Chansik looked at the floor, then at the wall, then at his hands, half transparent with an electric pattern inside. He asked for me, Chansik said. Yes, before you. Yes. Chansik closed his eyes. When he opened them, something had changed. Not broken, closed. Some door closed in him quietly without scandal. I will not leave, he said. Chansik, I will not leave, he repeated. Firmly, I have nowhere to go. And I have seen how you act. 3 months. Pause, you are cruel. You kill. Long pause, but you do not lie. Another pause. And you took me with you today. Explained the plan. Told the truth about Park when I asked. He looked at Jinhyo. That is enough for now. Predatory perception in him. Pain, sharp, living, not dulled, and under it something stubborn. The stubbornness of an 18-year-old boy who chooses to stay beside a monster because the monster is honest. I do not understand this. Yunji said that I will understand. Later. Fine, Jinhyo said. They went to Synthet. Im Youngjin was where Jinhyo expected, in the center of the territory, in the building of a former electronic service center, surrounded by monitors, alive, working from some generator. The screens showed maps, data, movement through the district. He is gathering information about the area, in real time. He knew I would come, knew long ago. Im Youngjun turned when Jinhyo entered through the eastern door, just as planned. Looked, the golden veins on the skin pulsed quickly. Jinhyo, he said. 24 years old, insurance company. Began the second life with dog shit, built 29 skills. Pause. You came late. I was waiting for you a month ago. He knew. Of course he knew. You were collecting data, Jinhyo said. All the time, Youngjun said. You leave a trace. Disappearing hosts, changes in the composition of factions, movement patterns. Pause. You think well. But predictably. Predictably, Jinhyo repeated. Rule 2. Know what you will get, Youngjun said. You always followed it. Which means you are here because you gathered enough data. Which means you think you are ready. He knows my rules. He knows my rules. You read the notebook, Jinhyo said. No, Youngjun said. I derived it from observable behavior. 147 observations, enough for a model, 147. For 3 months he observed and built a model. He knows how I think. That is worse than any physical threat? Then you know why I am here, Jinhyo said. To absorb me, Youngjun said. Yes. And I have been waiting for you, Youngjun said. But first a conversation. Why? Because my skills, you think they are processing speed and pattern prediction? Pause. Incomplete model. Incomplete model. He says I evaluated his skills incorrectly. That is either true or disinformation before the attack. Speak, Jinhyo said. I ate a system board, Youngjun said. Not just a board, a server processor. 8 cores, a terabyte of RAM. Pause. Speed, yes. Prediction, yes. But the main thing is different. What? I remember everything, Youngjun said. Every second, every sensation, every conversation since birth. Long pause. It is not a gift. It is a curse. I can forget nothing. Never. Predatory perception, thermal channel in him. Weariness. Different from all the previous ones. Not old and quiet like Parks and Guchel's, sharp and constant. Like pain that does not go away. A man who remembers everything never rests. You want this to end, Jinhyo said. Yes, Youngjun said simply. The 6th person who is not afraid of the end. The apocalypse creates people who are tired. Quietly from the west, Chansik should have taken position. Jinhyo with electroreception felt him by the western wall, ready. No need. He will not resist. You could have left, Jinhyo said. For 3 months you knew. Why did you not leave? Where to, Youngjun said. I remember every meter of this city, every smell, every person. Pause. Distance does not help when everything is inside. You were looking for someone who would stop this. I was looking for someone who could, Youngjun said. You can. Long silence. Predatory perception in him. Relief. Already now. He made the decision a long time ago. Today is just the moment. One last question, Jinhyo said. Yes, my skills. You say the model is incomplete. What do I not know about myself? Im Youngjun looked at him. You think that you take skills, he said. That is true. But 147 observations, behavior model, pattern analysis. Pause. You are changing, Jinhyo. Not the body you. Each absorption adds not only a skill, it adds a fragment of that person. Silence. What? Jinhyo said. Dog scent from whom? Youngjun said. Not from a dog. From a person who fell and lost something. You carry that. Pause. Lee Sanho's fire, do you feel cold differently now than before? A little warmer inside? Yes, he is right. Jinhyo felt it. He attributed it to thermal protection. Han Dimok's weariness. You have become a little slower to get angry. Iron will, yes. But not only that. Han was a tired man. You carry his weariness. Silence. You are not just a devourer of skills, Youngjun said. You are an archive of the people you absorbed. Pause. How many are there now? 31, Jinhyo said quietly. 31 people, Youngjun repeated. Inside you, 31 people. Park with his care for Chansik, Kwan Mayon with her thorns and precise words, Han with his weariness, and all the others. I thought I was taking skills. I did not think that something else was being taken too. When you absorb me, Youngjun said, you will remember everything that I remember. Pause. Including 147 observations of you. You will see yourself from the outside. Silence. Long. Jinhyo stood there. I will see myself from the outside, through the eyes of a man who studied me for 3 months. That is more frightening than any physical threat, and necessary. Rule 2. Know what you will get. Now I know fully. Ready? Jinhyo asked. Yes, Im Youngjun said. Skills acquired from Im Youngjun. Server mind information processing speed times 20. Pattern analysis, prediction of actions. In combat, calculates the opponent's probable moves 3 steps ahead. Absolute memory. You remember everything you see, hear, feel, forever, without exceptions. System analysis when looking at a system host. Partial reading of their skills. Not all, 60 to 80% of the visible ones. Digital interface interaction with electronic systems through touch. Side effect of absolute memory. All memories of absorbed hosts become accessible. 31 people. Their past is yours. 31 people. Their past is mine. Jinhyo sat on the floor of the service center. He did not remember how he sat down, because everything came at once. Park's childhood in Busan, a father who drank, the first day working in security, pride in the uniform, his mother's death 5 years ago, the loneliness after. And the last thought before the end, Chansik must survive. Kwon Mi-yeon, she loved flowers before the transformation. Floristry was not work, it was passion. The first time she saw a transformation, she screamed. Then she got used to it. Then she became herself. Han Daemok, he ate iron intentionally, not by accident. He wanted to become unfeeling. Before the transformation, he felt too much, too sharply. Every grievance, every loneliness. Iron seemed like a way out. It became a prison. San-ho, the fiery one, he laughed easily. Every day. Before the apocalypse, he worked as a cook. He loved feeding people. Fire was an extension of that. And in Myeongjun, 147 observations of Jinhyo. He saw himself, cold-blooded, methodical, efficient, and alone. Deeply, fundamentally alone. Not because there were no people nearby, because he chose it himself back in the first life. Even before the apocalypse. Even before the dog shit in the system and the absorptions. Loneliness is a method. The method became character. The character became a prison. Chansik entered from the west. Saw Jinhyo on the floor. What happened? Ran up. Are you hurt? No, Jinhyo said. Then, sit down, Jinhyo said. Chansik sat beside him. Silently, did not ask, was simply there. Predatory perception in him. Anxiety. For Jinhyo. Real. An 18-year-old boy whose father left when he was 10. Mother is plastic. Park is dead. And he is sitting next to the monster that killed his only protector. And is anxious for the monster. Because there is no one else to be anxious. Yoonji said you still do not understand why Chansik. I understand now. Not because I need him, because I am the only thing he has. And that is responsibility, not as a tool, as a presence. 31 people inside me and one beside me. That one beside me is more than the 31 inside. Because he is alive. Jinhyo looked at the ceiling. Chansik, he said. Yes, you are angry at me. Long pause. Yes, Chansik said. For Park, rightly so, but I still stay. I know, it is strange. Yes, why do you not tell me to leave? Because Im Young-jun is right. Each absorption adds a fragment of a person, 31 fragments. And all of them saw something that I did not see myself. Park, care, Kwon, passion. Han, the desire not to feel and how badly that ends. Young-jun, loneliness is a prison. 31 people say one thing. The boy beside me says the same thing simply by living. Because you are needed by me, Jinhyo said. Chansik looked. Not like electricity? He asked quietly. No, Jinhyo said. Not like electricity. Pause. Long. Then Chansik lowered his head. Something let go in him. Jinhyo felt it with predatory perception, like a taut string releasing its tension. All right, Chansik said. Quietly. They sat in the empty service center among the living monitors. Outside the window, August soul of the apocalypse. Plastic people, wooden people, metallic, glass, fungal. Inside Jinhyo were 31 people with their lives and pain and weariness and passion and care. The system for the first time in several months wrote something not about skills. System note. You are the devourer. You absorb skills. But you also carry those whom you absorbed. This is heavy. This is also a strength you have not yet used. 32 people, including you, as one. Continue. Jinhyo looked at the text. 32 people as one. The world gave me shit. I took 29 skills from the world, and 31 lives. That is a different count. A completely different one. He stood up, held out a hand to Chansik. He took it without surprise, simply took it. Both stood up. Where to now? Chansik asked. Jinhyo thought for a second. Guchol, Yoonji, the world beyond soul, and something else. Something Young-jun knew and that was now in Jinhyo's memory. There, in the 147 observations, there was one more variable. The one Young-jun did not say aloud. Someone beyond the three factions. Someone who was also gathering data. Not about the district, about the world. Someone who knew about the Devourer earlier than Youngjun. And was waiting. Forward, Jinhyo said. They stepped out